Hey, it's time for another weekly TLC Hiking Club vid clip, and I want to start off by saying thank you for participating in yesterday's hike to Tabletop Mountain. It was quite the adventure, and it was a great time. For the majority, we did not encounter rain. There was some rain that happened later on in the, I guess it would have been early afternoon. I guess it probably started raining at about 12:30, and it was a light sprinkle at that. And there were still some folks that were still on the mountain coming back from the summit. So the majority of the people did not encounter any rain. There was maybe, 8, 10 of those that encountered rain back from the summit. So it wasn't all that bad. It was cold. It was brutally cold up there on the ridge line, the summit area. It was really awesome to hike in that cloud once you reach the summit. I guess we kind of had the best of both worlds. Once we got up to the summit, actually the false summit, it was blanketed in a cloud, and the winds were ripping. It was really interesting because you could see how it was pushing the fog or the cloud along. And then, of course, as we made our way down through the saddle over to the true summit, it was brutally cold over there in the wind. 20-degree wind chill, I would guess. Some of you had winter coats on, and were still cold. I know I was eating my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. My jaw felt like it was freezing up at the summit. But nonetheless, it was still awesome. And then as we were breaking back from the summit back down, it was like perfect timing. The clouds gave way for, I don't know, maybe a half hour to an hour. So we did get some nice panoramic views of the valley, of the Tabletop Wilderness and the Vehicle Valley. So it was kind of like getting the best of both worlds. So an amazing hike, 8.8 miles round trip, 2,100 feet in elevation gain. And just quite the adventure. Kind of felt like you're on a different planet when we made that the first initial summit, and you really couldn't see much other than being in the cloud. It was pretty cool. So thanks to all that went along and were a part of the adventure. The dirt road itself, was it 16 miles in, 16 miles out of dirt roads, and four-wheeling. So thanks again for being a part of it. This week's tip of the week, and I got to give props to a friend of mine that's in the club. Her name is Diane, if you guys can see this. She tipped me off to this. This is bee pollen. Last March, I believe it was, April maybe, I was getting sinus infections and dealing with allergies, and she suggested getting some bee pollen that is local Arizona bee pollen, which is not easy to come by. It's kind of hard to find, and this one's absolutely delightful. No, I'm not getting anything for plugging this local company. But I've been taking bee pollen every day since March, April, and I have not got sick yet, knock on wood. But that was a tip that came from Diane, who is a hiker with the group. Wish we'd see more of her. She's a good gal, nice to be around. But thanks for that tip, Diane. I've been using that ever since March, April. You tipped me off, and I've not been sick since. So again, thanks for the clip. Moving on. Next hike is 2 weeks from yesterday, which will be the 17th of December, and I'll send out a short clip next week on that hike. But that is Lost Camp Loop. We are going to be meeting at the Cracker Barrel for that, and I would encourage everybody to meet at Cracker Barrel rather than meeting at the trailhead, because the trailhead starts in a residential area. We want to not ruin our welcome in that residential area with having 30-some vehicles in there. So keep that in mind. That's not ruin our welcome, and that's respect the residential neighborhood that we're going to be parking in. But I'll get more details out to you in another vid clip next week. But I figured I'd start laying the groundwork on meeting at Cracker Barrel, not the trailhead. because it is a residential area. We are going to be parking on streets that are in like front of people's homes. That's just how Lost Camp Loop is as far as the trailhead. With that said, I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you later, hikers. We'll see you.